Before we start off today's video, if you guys would like to join my Discord server, link will be in the description and it will also be in the pinned comment as usual. But anyway, let's get right into the video. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Now if you remember last week, if you watched it, which not a lot of people have, but then again it is a micro not a sports car, so what do I expect? You'll see that I showed this comment, do more car reviews, also the C3. Now I never got a reply back once again saying if they want their name shown, so it's exactly the same picture as last week. But anyway, we're here to do the Citroën C3, so let's get right into it. So anyway, this is the Citroën C3, this is the Mark III version of the Citroën C3. Now this is classified as a super mini, I believe Wikipedia calls it the B segment, but it's not the smallest Citroën that's available, that obviously goes to the C1, which is just a rebadged Igo. But this is a proper tiny super mini compared to what this C3 is. But anyway, the C3, it's the super mini as I said, and it goes against cars like the Yaris, the Fiesta and the Polo. If you're wondering why I showed the old Yaris, because it came out when the old Yaris was still available. And obviously the Fiesta and Polo, they've just been through facelifts. But anyway, let's actually get into the review. So, when it comes to the exterior, I don't know what to say, it's kind of bland, but I will give it this, it is very bold. For example, the Citroën badge, obviously it's made of the metal stripes, but they go across pretty much the most of the bumper, so that's obviously a cool feature, and plus the lights are integrated right next to it. Now that does cause a sort of monobrow sort of look, which is a bit, ooh. Now below it you obviously got the main lights, that is obviously quite cool as well, and obviously that oval shape, and then obviously below it you got fog lights. This one has it in red, but it's also a similar shape. This sort of shape is a very common feature on this car. But then came a facelift, and frankly that monobrow got joined to the main lights, and well, I don't know how to feel. It looks better but it doesn't. But, you know, it's not the worst car I've ever seen. It is bold, I will give you that. When it comes to the side, well, it's a car. Now, obviously, you got the air bumps on the side. What can I say? You open a door and you bang it, then the door shouldn't scratch. And there is something to know about this, which I will tell you in the anything else section. When it comes to the rear, well, it's just, again, it's just a car. I mean, I like how the Citroën badge is actually black this time, not just some boring grey colour. You obviously got C3 on the side. The lights I do like, how it's like roughly the same shape as that theme that's going around the car, but it's also got like little bits inside that get smaller and smaller. I quite like that. This car with the sensors are not recognisable, so that is good. It means that they don't stand out, and I really like that. But there is a lot of plastic on this car, but then again, if you have a crash, then that's going to be cheaper to repair than metal. So really, I can't really complain. When it comes to the facelift, it's pretty much just exactly the same, to be honest. It was a very mild facelift. Like literally just the front had been changed with not much else. When it comes to the interior, well, the same theme comes around. So you look at the door handles, they have it. You look at the air vents in the middle, they're also that shape. The air vents on the left and the right are actually the same as well. They're just integrated like the opposite way instead of landscape. That's really the theme going on around here. Something I will mention is that the infotainment screen is quite low down because the air vents are on top of that. If the air vents were placed a little bit higher, or they were swapped even, then the infotainment would be at a place where you wouldn't have to look down. And also the controls to adjust the climate control are also in the screen. Some people will think, I don't care, it's not that much. But frankly, I care, and it's not a good feature. It's one step too many. Plus, the screen's actually low down, so you're actually looking down when you do it, not looking at your eyeline, which is even worse. Now, something to mention is that, like the Micra that I reviewed last week, the interior does come with many colours and styles, if you want to call it that. So you can have that grey I just showed there, you can have what looks like red and orange at the same time. You got wood effect. Whether it's real wood, I doubt it. You got this orange, which like the Micra, I said that is this orange as if you just went to the sun, which, well, it is. And there's this one which does have shiny plastic instead, and this one is a more basic one, as you can see by the fact that the infotainment screen isn't really an infotainment screen, and the fact that you actually got climate controls right below it, and they're quite low as well. When it comes to the performance, you obviously got petrol and diesel engines. You got a 1.2 litre naturally aspirated engine that came with 2 power outputs, and you've got a 1.2 litre turbo that I believe also came with multiple power outputs. You also got diesel. You had a 1.5 litre HDI and a 1.6 litre HDI. I don't remember which one which, but one didn't last long, and then one replaced the other. I don't remember which way it is, unfortunately. But like the Micra, because there's multiple engines, we're going to choose one from each section, one petrol and one diesel, and then we'll just, well, look at the specs of that. So when it comes to the petrol one, the 1.2 litre inline 3 cylinder, I have chosen a turbo engine for this one, 108 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. It is, of course, front wheel drive. Well, because obviously there's different trims, I know it weighs more than 1050 kilograms. How much more, I don't know, unfortunately, but we've got that rough guess. So you can either get a 5-speed gearbox for this when it comes to manual, but I believe when an updated 1.2 came out, you could get it with a 6-speed manual. Or if you want automatic, then you just got your 6-speed there. 0 to 60 is 9.1 seconds for the manual, or 9.7 seconds for the automatic. Top speed for the manual is 120, and top speed for the automatic is 1 mile an hour less, but pretty much the same at 119. But when it comes to a diesel, I have chosen the 1.6 litre inline diesel. This also has a turbo. This one has 73 horsepower and 172 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, because it's diesel, it will have more torque. Of course, front wheel drive again. This one, 1090 kilograms. I believe there's more because obviously more trims and all that. This one only came with a 5-speed manual gearbox. 0 to 60 was 13.4 seconds, although I've seen 15 seconds in some places, but we'll take 13.4 on the chin. And the top speed was 105 miles an hour. Kind of that thing of 73 horsepower around that top speed. But when it comes to the practicality, well, the boot is 300 litres, and that frankly, well, that's big, and it's definitely comparable to rivals like the Yaris, etc. So frankly, it's obviously a good thing, but obviously it is quite high up the boot lip, so to put stuff in there is going to be quite difficult, and to take it out, especially if you've got a bad back, or you're old, which technically means you have a bad back, then that could be a bit of a struggle there. Now, when it comes to the legroom and the headroom was decent enough, but however, legroom was considerably tight if you were tall. Tall people just, yeah, don't. Something else to notice is, again, door handle is that same oval shape, and next to it you've got the 6 patterns which look like Tic Tacs, but they are pretty much the same like pattern thing. But either way, legroom isn't that great. As big as this car is for a super mini, it's still not a big car overall, so frankly, even though it's a con, it's still to be expected. When it comes to the handling, well, it didn't really like fall apart, let's just say that. Obviously, because it is a Citroën, it was very, very comfortable. That frankly is definitely the best feature of the Citroën C3. In fact, that's probably the best feature of any modern Citroën. Handling was alright, but then again, it was just a car, so it was just bland, really. It's just a car to take your family or a few people to A to B. There was some body roll, but it wasn't dramatic, obviously because of that soft suspension. But either way, it's not the car you're gonna thrash. I mean, come on. It's kind of like thrashing an expensive drone. You're not gonna do it, because obviously a drone is different because it's expensive for what it is, but you still don't want to like thrash it and lose it and never see it again. It's like that. When it comes to anything else, it is based, of course, on a Peugeot 208 because Citroën is owned by Peugeot. You're probably thinking, why am I showing this Peugeot, not the new one? Because this car came out when this Peugeot was still in production, and the new Peugeot, well, that was completely different. And also, you could get the car without those air bumps if you wanted to. You could opt for that as well. You know, some people might not care about it, some people may not like the look of it. Frankly, I would have it, even though I don't really like it. I think, you know what, it's just a bit of extra protection. But either way, what is the verdict? So the pros are there are multiple engines and power outputs to choose from. You have many interior styles to choose from, which frankly most of them are ugly either how. Options to remove the air bumps is good. That means you know, if you don't want it, you get rid of it. The exterior is quite bold when it comes to styling, even though it's just bland at the same time. The boot space was very good. It was the same on rivals. Headroom was also decent enough for adults, and it had a very good ride. However, the cons are the legroom was tight, but then again it's not a massive car. The infotainment screen is a bit low down, especially considering the fact that climate control is also in that screen as well, and the buttons are low on it as well, which I didn't mention that, but I'm not talking about the climate controls here, I'm talking about the buttons like the hazard lights and all that. But anyway, if you would like to check out my reaction channel.
So Dyson spheres. Type 1 is to build a ring of orbits.
Those are bloody lampshades, not bloody Dyson spheres.
Wirelessly transfer the energy back to the home planet. A Type 2 is to build a bubble of satellites around the
That's
star.
a golf ball. That's a golf ball now.
Of the light, but not all of it. And a Type 3 is to completely swallow the star with a solid shell of matter.
That's a disco ball. Then I will leave a link to that in the description below. If you can subscribe, that would be great. It would mean a lot to me. But anyway, this is next week's car. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments below. And speaking of comments again, if you want me to review a car, like this person wanted me to review a car, then you can obviously let me know in the comments as well. And well, like I did with the Citroën C3, I obliged. And well, I will oblige to you if I'm able to do it. But anyway, I will see you guys in next week's video. Peace.